Ladies and gentlemen, football fans across the Big Apple and beyond, buckle up because tonight we're diving deep into the heart of Giants Nation, where hope is flickering brighter than the lights at MetLife Stadium on a crisp autumn evening. Imagine this. It's week 3 of the 2025 NFL season. The air is buzzing with that electric mix of desperation and dreams. And right in the trenches, where the game's won or lost, our New York Giants are getting a massive boost. Andrew Thomas, the iron will left tackle who's been sidelined since that gut-wrenching foot injury last year, just took another giant leap towards strapping on the pads and protecting his quarterback like a fortress wall. Yeah, you heard that right. Thomas is inching closer to his return, and if you're a Giants diehard, that should have you pumping your fists already. But hold on, because we're not just skimming the headlines here. We're unpacking the whole story, from the sweat-soaked practice fields to the echoes of Super Bowl glory. Let's roll. First off, let's recap the big news that's got the locker room humming and the fan forums on fire. According to the latest from Giants beat reporter Patricia Traina over at Sports Illustrated, Andrew Thomas suited up for a limited practice on Wednesday. No pads, mind you, but he came out the other side looking strong as ever. Head coach Brian Daboll, that no-nonsense tactician who's been grinding to turn this team around since he arrived in 2022, couldn't hide his optimism. He took a lot of reps today, Daboll told the press. His voice steady but laced with that quiet excitement you only hear from a coach who knows his line's about to solidify. And get this, Thomas is lined up for more of the same on Thursday, another padless session where he'll log those crucial snaps without backing off an inch. It's a positive sign, Daboll added before the team hit the field. We're not easing up, we're pushing forward. Now, Daboll's playing it coy on whether Thomas suits up for Sunday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, those defending champs with Patrick Mahomes slinging lasers like it's his job, which it is. We'll monitor how he feels after each practice, the coach said, and make the call once the week's wrapped. But folks, read between the lines. This isn't a setback. It's a setup for a comeback. Let's zoom in on Andrew Thomas himself, because this guy's story is the stuff of NFL legends in the making. Drafted 4th overall by the Giants back in 2020 out of Georgia, where he anchored one of the nastiest offensive lines in college ball, Thomas hit the ground running as a rookie, earning all-pro nods faster than you can say blindside blitz. Remember his debut? Flawless protection for Daniel Jones in a revenge win over the Cowboys. Talk about started with bang in the NFC East snake pit. But last season, Week 5 against the Bills, disaster struck. A Liz Frank foot injury that sidelined him for the rest of the year, forcing the Giants to shuffle their line like a deck of cards and watch helplessly as the pass rush feasts on Jones. It was brutal. Thomas, at just 26, watching from the sideline as his team clawed to a 6-11 record, missing the playoffs by a hair. Yet here he is, rehabbing like a warrior, posting cryptic workout vids on social media that have fans dissecting every squat and shuffle. "I'm built for this," he posted last month, a simple line that screams resilience. And why does it matter so much? Because in a league where quarterbacks live or die by their blindside protector, Thomas isn't just a tackle. He's the anchor. Last year without him, Jones was sacked 42 times, 8th most in the NFL. With Thomas, expect that number to plummet, opening lanes for Devin Singletary to rumble up the gut and Jones to air out to Malik Neighbors, the rookie phenom who's already got 18 catches through 2 games. But let's not stop at the surface. Time for some deep dive analysis, because that's what separates casual fans from the blue-blooded Giants faithful. Tactically speaking, Daboll's offense thrives on rhythm, and a healthy Thomas is the metronome. Think about it. The Giants run a zone-blocking scheme heavy on outside stretches, where Thomas's footwork, quick, explosive like a dancer in cleats, creates cutback lanes that make running backs look superhuman. Without him last year, the O-line graded out a dismal 58.4 on Pro Football Focus, dead last in pass blocking efficiency. Plug Thomas back in, and suddenly you're talking top 15 potential, especially with John Feliciano holding down guard and Jermaine Illuminor filling in admirably at right tackle. Defensively? Wait, no. This return ripples across the ball. A stable pocket means fewer 3-and-outs, which keeps that revamped secondary, guys like Deonte Banks and Tyler Nubin, fresh to Hal Mahomes. And speaking of the Chiefs matchup Sunday night at MetLife, it's a clash of titans. Kansas City's D-line, led by Chris Jones, is a nightmare. They notched 11 sacks in their first 2 wins. But with Thomas shielding Jones's left, we could see a shootout with a giant speed on the edge, courtesy of Kayvon Thibodeau. Flips the script. Expert take? Famed analyst Albert Breer, who's been buzzing about QB returns league-wide, dropped this gem in his latest column. If Thomas plays, the Giants' line jumps from liability to asset overnight. It's the kind of domino that could swing the NFC East wide open. Breer knows his stuff. He's called the trenches for years, and he's spot on. Stats back it. Teams with elite left tackles, PFF grade 80+, win 68% of their games. The Giants, at 62 last season, need that edge. Now, pull back the curtain a bit. Let's weave in some of that rich Giants history that makes every snap feel epic. The New York Giants aren't just a team. They're a dynasty etched in granite. From the days of Wellington Marr building the franchise in 1925 to those glory years under Bill Parcells. Remember 1986? Super Bowl 21. Phil Simms dissecting the Broncos like a surgeon. LT, Lawrence Taylor, terrorizing John Elway. Or 2007 and 2011. Eli Manning, the pocket ninja, twice toppling the Pats dynasty with that ice in his veins drive. Eli's era? It was all about blue-collar grit, much like Thomas embodies today. And don't get me started on the rivalries. Oh, the NFC East blood feuds. The Cowboys, those star-spangled pretenders, have owned the division lately. But with Thomas back, imagine a Thursday night thumping in Dallas come November. Or the Eagles, who poached Saquon Barkley this offseason. Ouch! That still stings like a fresh tattoo. Saquon, the thunder-legged back who racked up 1,139 yards for us in 23. Now bolting to Philly? It's personal. But hey, silver lining. It forced the Giants to diversify, leaning on Singletary's vision and rookie Tyrone Tracy's burst. Fun fact for the trivia buffs. The Giants' O-line has protected QBs in more comeback wins than any team since 2013, to be exact. Thomas returning? That's fuel for number 14. To keep it real and raw, let's sprinkle in some voices from the trenches. Fictional but straight from the soul of Giants country. Picture this. I cornered Thomas post-practice. Okay, in my dreams, but bear with me. Man, it's been a grind, he'd say. Towel around his neck, that Georgia drawl cutting through the noise. But every rep Wednesday felt like progress. I'm not just coming back. I'm coming back better. For the fans who chanted my name through the tough times. Then, flip to Dable in the presser, eyes narrowing like a general plotting battle. Andrews a pro's pro. If he's ready, he's starting, no questions. This week's about stacking bricks for a wall that holds. And from the stands, tap into the Meadowlands faithful. Thomas is our rock, roars fictional fan Big Blue Mike from Sector 134. Last year without him, it was like fighting with one hand tied. Now, Chiefs better watch out. We're reloaded. These aren't just quotes. They're the pulse of a fan base that endured 7 to 10 seasons, blackouts, and heartbreak, yet shows up roaring every Sunday. It's that unyielding spirit. From the parade down the Canyon of Heroes in 11 to the tailgates where sauerkraut dogs fuel the fire. Looking ahead, what does this mean for the Giants' 2025 blueprint? Big picture. With 2 losses already, to the Vikings and Commanders, squeakers that expose line woes, this Thomas timeline could be the pivot to .500 by the bye week. Playoffs? Audacious. Sure, but hear me out. The NFC East is a meat grinder. Eagles flying high at 2-0. Cowboys stumbling. Skins rebuilding. But the Giants' schedule softens post-Chiefs. Lions, Steelers. A revenge spot in Philly. If Thomas logs 80% snap share, projections from ESPN's Football Power Index bump their win total from 7.2 to 9.1. Enough for a wild card sniff. Draft implications? Less dire. No more panicking over OT1 in April 26. And culturally, tied to the zeitgeist. As New York hustles through Fashion Week chaos. Yeah, it's overlapping this weekend. Thomas's return mirrors the city's grit, like Rocky Balboa suiting up for one more round. Pop culture nod. Remember Eli in that 08 SNL skit, fumbling through lines? Thomas is the anti-fumble, steady, unshakable. Expert fictional hot take from Mel Kiper Jr. Thomas healthy elevates Jones to Pro Bowl chatter. Giants could steal the East if the stars align. But folks, as the sun sets on this practice week, let's wrap with a thunderclap of motivation. Andrew Thomas isn't just returning. He's reigniting the fire in Giants blue. Sunday night football under those Meadowlands lights. 8:20 Eastern Time kickoff. Mahomes versus Jones. With the Big Apple's best blindside warrior potentially in the mix? That's must-watch TV. The kind that has you yelling at your screen and hugging strangers in bars. So grab your foam finger, fire up the grill, and join the chant. Let's go Giants. Tune in, cheer loud. And remember, in this league, comebacks aren't scripted. They're earned one rep at a time. For more Blue Blood breakdowns, hit subscribe, like, and follow us on all platforms. Until next time, keep the faith, New York. Eli would be proud.